Alright, hello everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Mine could be better, but it was rather manageable. Let me set up the windows on the second monitor. And we are good to go. Alright, so the plan for today is to hug Xenia for a bit, but then basically I want to go and do more of the most recent story because I only started it and then focused on other stuff. All right. One more dot for the road, and let's go. So, the quest is called Here Be Dragons, and it's in the Alamigan Quarter. And let's see what it's all about. I just hope nobody's gonna die. Give me just a second. Oh, and by the way, call me a whale spender, but I just couldn't stop myself from getting a... where is it? Ah. I just couldn't pass getting a 8 people mount, because seriously, the 4 people one was kinda awesome, so I just wanted to do it. And yes, I'm bragging right now. Okay, so I'm gonna read just a bit, but hello there. I'm gonna read just a bit, but at some point I might stop, I don't know. So Estinian was bound for ISHGARD. Whatever it is that brings him home, we must hope it will keep him there long enough for us to find him. Come, there is no time to lose. And Cells, you're gonna get spoiled about the story at this point, but I guess you don't mind that much? I still think there are some elements that you should just experience yourself. But perhaps one day I will be able to convince you. All present? Good. Let us split up and search for Austinian. Since we're relatively new to this place, Graha and I will look around the open spaces, the squares and the markets and whatnot. You and Nika can delve into the nooks and crannies. Very well, let us reconvene at the airship landing later, with or without Austinian. Good luck. I mean, I could make different... What? Ah. I think I should make some different voices for different people, but maybe later. I think I shall begin at the Sky Steel Manufactory, so perhaps you could try the congregation? Lucia may well have heard the news of our friend's return. Okay, I guess we can put some clothes on because it's cold. Okay, this should work. And just so we know, I normally play without music, but when it comes to the main story, I think it just adds to it. Good day to you, warrior of light. Lord Imeric sent word that you would be attending the meeting in Alamigo, so I gather you have not come in search of him. To what then do we owe the pleasure of your visit? I see. No, we were not aware Celestinian had returned to ISHGARD, but as I expect you remember, he is wont to come and go as he pleases. Mayhap he... Okay, this language is killing me. Mayhap he came seeking an audience with Lord Imeric, only to find him absent? In any event, I am afraid I cannot help you. Perhaps one of your companions has fared better.
No sign of him. Not that I've ever met him before, but the way Alphino goes on about him, I'm fairly sure I could pick him out in a crowd.
Speaking of which, it does seem awfully quiet. If the erstwhile Azure Dragoon had returned to ISHGARD, would it not be a source of general excitement?
By the way, I may have gotten just a bit spoiled about a minor event from this patch, and it should be happening in the next 20 minutes or even 10. I will tell you what it was when it happens. Okay, make it 5.
First the Scion's Coinkeeper, and now you. I'm beginning to think these meetings are more than mere coincidence. Not that I'm complaining. It's been too long.
And here it comes.
Too long.
You look an ilm taller and twice as rugged. It suits you, Alphino. Quieter, though. Have you been giving him lessons on how to be the strong, silent type?
I am not Alphino! If the two of you are such firm friends, perhaps you should remember what he looks like. And what do you mean, rugged? Ugh! Had my brother mentioned what an oaf you are, I'd never have bothered looking for you in the first place.
Estinian Wormblood, the Azure Dragoon. He who fought and felled the dread worm Nidhogg at the Warrior of Light's side. To think the day would come when I should see this living legend with my own eyes.
Would someone mind explaining what is going on?
Is everything all right? I thought I heard Alize shouting.
Estinian! It's been too long.
No, it's quite understandable. That was hardly the first time we've been confused for one another. Nor, I suspect, will it be the last.
Well, I, for one, will not be making that mistake again. What I will say, for the second time today, is that you've grown. Inside and out. I can tell.
One can't remain a spoiled little lordling forever, you know.
At least someone's having a good time. You know, when we were growing up, Alphino would never befriend other boys because he couldn't stand the thought of not being in charge. But maybe that's changed. He seems just as happy around Estinian as he does Arenvald.
What are you thinking about cells?
Good luck to them. It hasn't been easy being his sister, I can tell you that.
No rest for the righteous, eh? Speaking of which, I was just on my way to borrow an airship to take me to Azisla.
The funny thing about those twins is that because of them we learn that Elezen are late bloomers. So basically most of the time they're shorter than everyone else, and then boom, and they're a lot bigger.
Azisla? How could I forget? The dragon with whom Bahamut shared the deepest of bonds.
I, Tiamat, his mate. Even now she remains imprisoned on Azisla, though her remorse binds her faster than any shackle.
I see. As the one who first summoned Bahamut, you believe she may be able to shine some light on his latest incarnation.
Might I suggest that we make the journey to Azisla together? I'm not sure if Tataru mentioned this, but we Scions have an airship of our own now.
I see no reason why not. Assuming your sister can bear the thought of sharing a deck with me.
Be my guest. But confuse me with Alphino again and I'll throw you overboard. Ugh! I don't know who he thinks he is, but he's nothing like Alphino painted him to be.
I will admit, he is not exactly as I imagined him either. Based on what I had read of the man, I think I was expecting someone a little less blunt?
What I love about those cutscenes is that even if it's not me choosing the reactions, I kind of feel like my character is enjoying herself. It has been quite some time since last I set foot in Azisla, but I understand that the three of you were here rather more recently. I don't suppose you chanced to meet with Tiamat during your visit. Alas, alas not. We had no cause to set foot here in the Delta Quadrant, but I have studied the relevant records. Which is not to say I wouldn't appreciate a first-hand account of your dealings with her. Well then, Nika is the person to ask. As far as I know, she's the only one of us to have met Tiamat face to face. Let's just say it helped that Midgard Sormer was there to introduce me. Ah yes, you were a friend of of her father. I too have met with Tiamat. After the Dragonsong War came to a close, I came here to speak with her, a worm who had fought her own war against men in another age. I wished to know if she yet harbored thoughts of vengeance and asked as much. She said no. My hatred of for your kind was extinguished long ago. But the guilt she feels for resurrecting Bahamut burns on undimmed. It torments her even now. I see. Then your original reason for coming here was out of concern that Tiamat had been forced to summon Bahamut. Nidhogg is a part of me. I feel his emotions as my own, and I know that he would not allow his sister to be made a tool of evil. In his absence, it fails to me to watch over her. Okay, so apparently we have pizza in game. Tiamat awaits. This way. Well, have fun with that.
Edgin Elfin, Wafes Klesnon in.
Okay, so my sire's mortal companion. What bring? Okay, come on, this language. What bringeth thee back to this forsaken place, child of man?
It's plain she knows naught of recent events. Perhaps you should enlighten her.
That my sins should be repeated. I sense not the faintest stirring. As to who could have called him forth, I know of none save the dragons of Merakidia, our children. The Aegon claimed their souls when first he manifested, and robbed of their will, they became tools for the Elegant's dark designs.
Much like those held here in Asislar. If dragons who worship Bahamut are required to summon him, that must mean...
Yes, the dragons of Merakidia are at the mercy of this Asian. There can be no other explanation. Accursed Asians, vile minions of darkness. Again you would profane the memory of my beloved and strip our children of their freedom, their dignity. Are there no depths to which you will not stoop?
Your children's pain means nothing to them. They laugh at your kind suffering. But tears will not right this wrong, nor will lamentation see the perpetrators punished.
What wouldst thou have from me, Slayer of Dragons?
Behavior befitting a great worm. We came here to ask mighty Tiamat of the First Brood, consort of Bahamut, mother of the dragons of Mericidia, what she intends to do about the crimes committed against her children.
Were I free, I would answer thine insolence with fire, but words shall have to suffice. Recall, mortals, that it was I who did first summon my beloved, praying with all my being to bring him forth. You who contend with icons cannot well be ignorant of the consequence.
You too were exposed to his influence. That you are yet in possession of your own will is testament to the indomitable strength of your soul. But were you to meet with Bahamut again, you fear you might succumb.
Indeed. Ask the Dragon Slayer, and he will tell thee the power we of the first brood wield. Were I to lose myself to the Aikon's influence, all would pay the price. But it is of little matter, for even had I the strength to resist, I yet lack the strength to break my shackles. This prison shall be my tomb.
On the matter of Bahamut's influence, at least, I believe we can be of some assistance. If you're afraid of being enthralled, don't be. We have a cure. And while we've never tried it on one such as you, its basic principles are universal.
Well, the problem might be about keeping her in one place when they cure her. Speak as do in earnest?
There is no future for those bound to the past. That you committed a terrible sin, I do not dispute. But if you feel remorse, you may yet make amends. We offer you that chance. Take it, or you will forever remain a prisoner, not of these cruel shackles, but of your own guilt.
A chance to make amends, to lay Bahamut's memory to rest. When our own star faced annihilation, Hydaelyn granted us sanctuary. And now your foes would bring about her destruction. This I cannot allow. For the debt I owe to Hydaelyn and to all who have suffered for my sins. I shall fight with you, children of men. While proxies have been shown to be effective in curing the tempered, Tiamat must be considered a special case. She is far, far larger and immeasurably more powerful than any subject treated thus far. Were we to remove her restraints, only to find that the process had failed, we would be hard-pressed to contain her. Then, before going ahead, we should learn as much as we can about the exact nature of her condition. Do you suppose we can find that information here? Why, yes, we can. The Elegants kept detailed records on all of their notable captives, and I know exactly where to look. We shall leave that to you then. In the meantime, the rest of us can turn our thoughts to the removal of those shackles. Oh, sorry, I had a bit of a tiring day and I'm yawning for some reason right now. I know Alfino and Nika here well enough, but not you. Are you certain you're ready to see this through? Rest assured, Sir Estinian, that I am both ready and willing to give my all for the sake of this star. Though that is not my only reason for wanting to set Tiamat free. While I do not claim to know all of her sorrows, I too once found myself in a prison of despair, and I well understand how hard it can be to dare to dream of escape. It took the encouragement of braver souls than I am to make me take the first step towards a brighter future, and now I would help Tiamat do the same. I gather you are not as young as you look. Mayhap when our work here is done, we could trade tales over a pot of Tataru's famous tea. And be indebted to her for the leaves and hot water? I think not. I see. Returning swiftly to the task at hand, then. I believe the nodes governing Tiamat's restraints are located in the sector known as the flagship. Ah, yes. We are familiar with it. The Heterochemical Research Facility in particular. Oh, you may wish to take this, a spirit vessel containing a small amount of my blood. Which you just happened to be carrying around with you. I suppose that could seem rather odd. To explain, Rambros, Urianger and I are researching the use of spirit vessels in the transference not only of memories, but the traits of certain bloodlines. And so I keep one at the ready should an opportunity to test our theories arise. As for its use to you, you may recall that during our previous visit, the nodes here granted access to restricted functions, having identified me as being of royal blood. And armed with that spirit vessel, I posit that they will do the same for you, even in the absence of, well, the rest of me. It seemed worth a try at least. Agreed. We will take good care of it. To the flagship then. Let us split up and search the flagship for the node that controls Tiamat's restraints. But should you find the likely candidate, do not be tempted to make any adjustments. It would not do to accidentally release some manner of experimental monstrosity, nor less Tiamat herself in her current state. Our objective at this stage is simply to identify the relevant node or nodes. Once we have learned what we can, we should reconvene and compare notes prior to proceeding. Okay, I think it's time to summon the Chocobo. Data link with Delta Quadrant broken. Possible cause intruder interference. Advise deployment of automated combat units. Proceed. Friction between metallic components detected. Temperature increasing to critical levels. Please replace damaged parts or retreat to a safe distance. Warning, scheduled Dragon Restraint maintenance due in minus 2020 years. Failure to verify system integrity may result in unscheduled specimen release. I'm afraid Destinian and I have little to show for our efforts. Did you find anything? I did. A note which smelled like burnt hair? Or, yes, a chirping note which spontaneously warned me about neglecting the dragon restraints? Or, I found a way to activate mechanical sentries, if that's any help. Okay, let's go with the first one. Because why not? I know the one. Though I thought the stench more akin to a fire in a manure shed. But it seemed likelier to explode than grant our wish. Surely there must be another. Okay. Only if they are willing to lead us to the node we seek, which I somehow doubt. But from what I recall of the flagship's design, the node you found could facilitate communications throughout Azesla, so we may yet find a use for it. Okay. Spontaneously, you say? Well, that does sound promising, almost suspiciously so, in fact. But then, you were in possession of the spirit vessel. I dare say it is indeed the node of which Graha spoke. And it was chirruping, you say? Very well, let us take a closer look. And hello to Sir Sebubbles. Do you wish to operate the dragon restraint mechanisms? You do not have the requisite access privileges. Operation of the dragon restraint mechanisms may only be undertaken by the chief technologist and members of the royal family. Or those with a vessel full of royal blood, perhaps. New user detected, commencing biometric authentication. Authentication complete. User identified as member of the royal family. Please state your name. Nika Catnip. Welcome, Nika Catnip. You may operate the dragon restraint mechanisms when ready. Error, unable to disengage restraints of the specimen. Tiamat, a system update is required. A system update? What do you suppose it is asking of us? I could hazard a guess. Well, that's more than I can say, confounded bloody thing. User agitation detected. Initiating guidance program. In order to operate the restraint mechanism, I require access to the central control system. However, I am unable to establish a link to said system due to the obsolescence of my software. This issue can be resolved by applying a system update using the corresponding terminal located within the flagship. So, can this thing release the restraints or not? It can, but only once it has received the request. Those words are so long. The requisite system update, as far as I can tell. Until which time it'll float there spewing nonsense. User dissatisfaction detected, initiating placation protocols. I am here to help. Rest assured that I will be on hand to guide you through every step of the system update process. How gratifying, but I dare say we will fare better with guidance than without it. Guiding user to the terminal. This way, please. Let's see. According to the terminal, the central control system is presently employing software version 56.135. Did I ask which version you are employing? Why, software version 42.002, of course. Warning, errors detected in the data management system. Estimated time required for update 5 years, 1 day. That is rather longer than we were hoping. Aren't there any other options? For instance, using this terminal to operate Tiamat's restraints. The proposed method is indeed an option. Please be warned, however, that the procedure may have changed as a result of the system update, and my instructions may no longer be accurate. Well, I can't imagine it will have changed all that much as long as we pay due attention to any discrepancies. I dare say we shall be able to muddle our way through. Don't bother trying to explain, just tell me if we've made any progress. I would say so, yes. It does, however, require that I remain here to operate the terminal. I shall inform you via link Pearl once I am ready to release the shackles. It might be best if you left the spirit vessel with me. I may yet have use for it. Rest assured I will be certain to return it to Grahatia once this is over. Just a little more work and Tiamat will be free. But before we go any further, there is something I would know. When Tiamat and her kin fought against the Allagan Empire, both sides were but dancing to the tune of the Asians. And it was the same in ISHGARD, where they stoked the fires of conflict between man and dragon from the shadows. All that the Asians touch turns to ash, and thus have you made it your mission to fight them. But there have been times when you tried to reach out to them instead, to find common ground. And so I must ask, what do you intend to do with Fandaniel? Will you try and reach out to him too? Enemy or no, I want to understand him. Or I will try, yes, and if that fails, I'll remember him. That's kinda savage. Or certainly after I've wiped the smile off his face. Okay, we're going with the middle one. Huh. I see little point in reasoning with the wretch, or remembering him for that matter. But perhaps that's the difference between you and me. You see the good in people even if it be but the faintest glimmer. I only hope you do not come to rue your benevolence. You think us unwise for viewing the world thus. Far from it. That has ever been your way, as I learned from when we journeyed together with ISHGARD. Yet the fact remains that there are some who view compassion as a weakness to be exploited, and there may come a time when you extend the hand of friendship only to wish you had dealt the killing blow. So, save your mercy for those who deserve it. Well, we should be getting back to our task. If Alfino has things in hand here, I suggest we rejoin the others. I think it might be both being tired after work and using my voice so much, because I'm kinda getting more oxygen this way, I think. Welcome back, Cells. I'm just reading the quest text. I don't know, I feel like some of the quests are kinda too long sometimes. Estinian told me all is well, but nothing more. Honestly, it's like getting blood out of a stone with him. I take it from Alfino's absence that he's needed elsewhere. Well, that all sounds rather frustrating, but you got there in the end. While you were off talking to nodes, Graha and I were learning as much as we could about Tiamat's condition. Our readings confirm that her ethereal balance leans strongly towards the umbral, as was the case with the kobolds. Therefore, all other things being equal, the treatment should work. The difficulty lies in the sheer quantity of ether with which we must contend. Multiple applications of the treatment will inevitably be required if we are to reverse the effects of the tempering completely. Meaning, I'll need all the ether I can get. Thank you in advance. Although this endeavor will ask much of us, we do have one reason to be optimistic, namely that Tiamat shows no signs of fanatical devotion, suggesting a milder case of tempering than that suffered by the kobolds. Tiamat saw Bahamut as an equal, rather than a god. Might that have made a difference? Now that you mention it, it very well might. She would not have believed it necessary to defer to his will. But enough talk. It's time to put our theories to the proof. Tell Alphino to disengage the ethereal dampers. Some of those words are kinda trying to twist my tongue in a knot. I'm counting on you, Angela. Okay, such warmth. The frost that shroudeth my soul doth begin to thaw. But what are these? Visions of days long forgotten, of war with the men of Alag? Wherefore do such baleful memories return to me now? Could it be that the process of restoring her soul to its pre-tempered state is awakening ancient memories? Or might the opposite be true? If so, by helping her to recall the past, we may be able to speed her recovery. Nike, she trusts you. Speak to her. Ask her to tell you of times past. Okay, so tell me of your war with the men of Alag. Wicked, bloodthirsty creatures, not content with their own lands. They brought fire and death to Meracidia, our home. The tale began when Bahamut and I left our father's side. We took wing in search of a place to make our eyrie. Beyond the southern ocean, we discovered a lush and fertile land. It would come to be known as Meracidia by the children of men, though many years were to pass before they crossed the seas. Upon our arrival, we were welcomed by the peaceful people of the forest, kin to the trees. Surrounded by nature's bounty, Bahamut and I had found a place to raise our young. Fascinating. This correlates with the writings of the Charlayan scholar Rurusha. She posits that men first settled on the southern continent towards the end of the Second Astral Era. Correctly, it would appear, if only she were with us to hear the tale from the Tiamat herself. Again, Angelo. I kind of think I need more practice with talking and reading because I'm kinda feeling my tongue getting tired. When first the children of men arrived on our shores, no foot did they set in those places over which we held dominion. Such was their fear of dragonkind. And as they kept their distance, so did we let them be. Yet as the days went by, ship after ship appeared upon the horizon, bearing ever more of their brethren, who divided the vast land amongst themselves. For a time they knew peace and prosperity, but as their numbers grew, the smaller their share came to seem. The smaller their share came to seem, and soon they began to covet the territory of their fellows. Ere long, men fought men, blood was answered with blood, and none could see an end to the strife, until one day they came to us. Recognizing our wisdom, they entreated us to intercede with their conflicts. Bahamut agreed, and with him presiding over the affairs of men, the land knew peace once more. Alas, those golden days of harmony too were fated to end, for the men of Alak slew my beloved, and I, in the rage and sorrow, heeded the envenomed words of the Asians. The rest thou knowest only too well. But your tale doesn't have to end there. When you are free, we'll rid the world of the Asians together, and you and your beloved will have justice. Fine sentiments, but you're almost spent. I'll keep watch from above. If the treatment fails, run. Thanks for the vote of confidence. I swear, when this is over... Keep going, Alice. The magic is working. Okay, I think I'm gonna finish this quest and take a break for today. Even if possibly the next one will be a lot more event heavy, let's call it. While I knew this wasn't going to be easy, no patient could have prepared me for treating a great worm. But we're close, I can feel it. And while I've only got a few more drops of Aether left to give, with yours and Graha's this will work. And I believe I speak for both of us when I say that you may take as much as you require. Careful, I might hold you to that. Alright, here I go.
No! I'm almost there!
Why is she surprised as beyond
This is
me?
it, Angelo!
Es lies an. Mich es tai.
Yes, I feel it. The Aiken's grip groweth weak.
Did it work?
We won't know for certain until the shackles are removed.
Task in Santal Ankin in way.
Answer me this, children of men. Can my kindred be saved in like manner?
Many have been subjected to the Allagan's dark arts, their flesh irrevocably altered. For such tortured souls, I fear there can be no salvation.
Ankin.
My children.
Slosk an or.
Should you hearken unto my call, we shall fly together once more. But should you not, I shall grant you peace. Better to die than live as a tool of evil. You too would wish this, I know, and I shall do as I must.
When that time comes, you won't be alone. We'll stand by you.
She's in.
Do has my gratitude, little one.
Alphino's ready. It's time. Do it. And let's hope the treatment worked as it should.
Bahamut, my beloved. For vengeance and atonement I rise.
By the gods!
Urianger, your timing could not be better. Understood, we're on our way. It's Bahamut. He's been sighted over Pagalthan. He flies for the largest amount of settlement in the region, at the head of a vast host, including dragons.
Did you hear all that, Alphino? You'd best rejoin your comrades. I'll make my own way. Our enemy awaits. Shall we?
Okay, as much as I want to complete the new dungeon, I think it can wait. While I'm sure you're desperate to join Estinian and Tiamat in battle, it would be wiser to gather the full strength of the Science first. The foe we face demands no less. I have already sent word to the others. We are to rendezvous in Ulda at the Hall of Flames. Let us collect Alfino and be on our way. Okay. So I think it's the best moment to stop because we are in an accessible place. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank yourselves for being here. It's always a pleasure when you do. And see you sometime soon. I'm kinda into finishing this story. Perhaps even this week. Maybe... I think I might swap... Cells, you're distracting me. I might swap one day of Satisfactory for Final Fantasy. Or even both this weekend, I don't know. We'll see. So, see you sometime soon.